right, that's 1 minute long. Um, it's probably going to look a lot different. Um, I've added on some things. I brought on Instagram, which is about uh, it's several seconds lag. So I just want to see if this would work. We're going to I'm using. Um, why is it not cut up? There it goes. Okay. Not really live if it's that far behind. So we'll be about the 3 minute mark that I get this started. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I forgot Instagram existed and I accidentally hit the button the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of people here following me. Man, I should do something about that. Get back to some of the videos. I still go live. You can find me in a lot of different places. But today we are going to cover emotional sobriety. Emotional sobriety. Where's my book? Where's that book? Language of the Heart. So emotional sobriety was written by Bill W. back in 1958. 1958. Oh, hey babe on Instagram. All right, let's do some introductions. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Nice. Okay. My name is Dion. I'm your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. All right. Looks like we got 2 people. Hi, Sasa. This is already even working. This is actually working better. Hey, Sasa, it's good to see you. You have been busy sleeping on your porch. I heard that the other day. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm preparing myself, so I started by sleeping on my porch. I thought that was great. Some of the things you think we watch, right? Are you? Good for you, man. You know, maybe I've got this really big backyard. Maybe I'll go sleep in the backyard tonight. You know, that will happen. I enjoy my bed way too much. So, emotional sobriety. Let's do this first. Let's ask Google. Let's say, hey, Google, emotional sobriety. Hi, Ingrid.
Help is available by calling
Help is
988
available.
Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
That number again is 988.
Yeah, we know it. Thanks. Okay, what is emotional sobriety? And this is according to waypointrecoverycenter.com. Being emotionally sober simply means that you are comfortable being present with all your feelings without any one of them defining or controlling you. It's a great way to put it. I like it. Developing emotional sobriety often involves several different activities. Working with a therapist, of course, you're saying, getting a therapist like us here at the Recovery Center and blah, 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 right? Here's the thing is, emotional sobriety has kind of been turned into a fad. It's a fad right now, okay? People are jumping on the emotional sobriety fad. Wow. Like, Instagram is so far behind, okay? I'm not going to have to worry about that. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Patricia. Good to have you. All right. Let's get to reading. The Next Frontier, Emotional Sobriety, January 1958. So my first question is this. How come we didn't talk about emotional sobriety until about 10 years ago? That's when it came out. That's when people really started to see it. I'd never heard of it before. I tell you that before I came into the program this time. And it's helped me out a lot with my depression, my anxiety, and my PTSD. Yeah, emotional sobriety. This article is the substance of a letter Bill wrote to a close friend who also had troublesome depressions. Now, I'm going to clarify a few things first, okay? Bill tried some things. He tried, he tried mushrooms. He tried acid. He tried several different things to get rid of his depressions, okay? Now, that does not mean that you get to come in to a meeting and say, well, Bill did that so we could talk about drugs. No, sorry. Bill wasn't addicted to drugs. He tried microdosing mushrooms. That's how I know it doesn't work. Okay. I think that many oldsters, and oldsters means 10 plus years of sobriety. That's what an oldster means. Who have put our AA booze cure, so the 12 steps, to severe but successful tests, still find they often lack emotional sobriety. Perhaps they will be the spearhead for the next major development in AA, the development of much more real maturity and balance, which is to say humility in our relations with ourselves, with our fellows, and with God. Those adolescent urges that so many of us have for top approval, this is me, perfect security and perfect romances, urges that are quite appropriate to the age of 17, prove to be an impossible way of life when we are at the age of 47 or 57. So what happened? What happened to us? Well, I started drinking when I was 13 years old. So therefore, my drinking was stunted, or my emotional being was stunted at 13. So I would try and handle my problems. I would try and have emotional relationships with other people with the mentality or the emotional level of a 13-year-old. There's our answer. So what is emotional sobriety? Most of it's growing up. We got to grow up. And this is going to be tough because you're going to need to find a balance. Why? Because most of us never had a childhood. So right now you're playing. And in those ways, yeah, play, have fun, be in the dirt, sleep on your deck. Do what is fun, man. Heck yeah. Okay? I will always be a Toys R Us kid. But when it comes to my actions, when it comes to my emotions, when it comes to my triggers, I have got to be responsible for them. That is emotional sobriety. Since AA began, I've taken immense wallops in all these areas because of my failure to grow up emotionally and spiritually. My God, how painful it is to keep demanding the impossible, and how very painful to discover finally that all along we've had the cart before the horse. Then comes the final agony of seeing how awfully wrong we have been, but still finding ourselves unable to get off the emotional merry-go-round. And that's insanity. It's a different form of insanity. Okay? So we have what are called, it's called PAWS. Okay? Post-acute withdrawal symptoms, I believe is the word. Symptoms, I believe is the right one. Okay? These are things that continue after 6 months of sobriety, and you've been working the program. There's 2 requirements there. Okay? You also have been doing the work. Okay? My PTSD, the program did not work on my PTSD. It didn't. It didn't work on it. Okay? But I was on this emotional merry-go-round, and they weren't, people kept saying, you need to do a 4th and 5th. You're 4th and 5th. And I'm like, this is not a resentment. These are intrusive thoughts. I do not feel this way. Okay? And for I don't know, probably 6 months, everybody except my wife was the fucking enemy. They were. And this was in sobriety. I was 2-3 years sober. Okay? So when I say that you're going to have to deal with your snakes one of two ways, you either bring them out and you take a look at them, or you wait for the trauma to happen. Okay? Don't do what I did. You don't need to do that. It is not a requirement. They say that pain is the touchstone of all change. It is not a requirement. You do not need to be in pain to change. You can do it intentionally. How to translate right mental conviction into right emotional result, and so into easy, happy, and good living. Well, that's not only the neurotics problem, it's the problem of life itself for all of us who've got to the point of real willingness to hew the right principles in all of our affairs. Even then, as we hew away, peace and joy may still elude us. That's the place so many of us AA ulcers have come to. And it's a hell of a spot, literally. How shall our unconscious, from which so many of our fears, compulsions, and phony aspirations still stream, be brought in line with what we actually know, believe, and want? How to convince our dumb, raging, and hidden Mr. Hyde becomes our main task. People fake being depressed. Look at Robin Williams. Great example. It was a mask. That comedian was Mr. Hyde. That was his Mr. Hyde. Okay? And that's what they're talking about there. Hiding our depressions. Well, no, I'm doing good. I'm doing, this is where fake it till you make it does not work. It does not work. I tried. I've recently come to believe that this can be achieved, and it can be. It can. I believe so because I see many benighted ones, folks like you and me, commencing to get real results. Last autumn, depression, having no really rational cause at all, almost took me to the cleaners. I began to be scared that I was in for another long chronic spell. Considering the grief I've had with depressions, it wasn't a bright spot. I kept asking myself, why can't the 12 steps work to release depression? By the hour, I stared at the St. Francis prayer. It's better to comfort than to be comforted. Here was the formula, all right, but why didn't it work? And now we're about to find out why. Okay? See if you can find yourself in here. And it's okay if you do. Okay? Which means a little more work. We've all got stuff to work on. So suddenly I realized what the matter was. My basic flaw had always been dependence. This is so me. Almost absolute dependence on people or circumstances to supply me with prestige, security, and the like. Failing to get these two according to my perfectionist dreams and specifications, I had fought for them, and when defeat came, so did my depression. It's a setup. It's my brain setting me up again. It is always looking for the easier, softer way. Always. Okay? And there are times when I have to say, no, that's not the route we're going to go, Mr. Brain. Okay? My brain is the last place I go for an answer. And I'm allowed to use my brain again right now. But that doesn't make it reliable. Okay? There wasn't a chance of making the outgoing love of St. Francis a workable and joyous way of life until these fatal and almost absolute dependencies were cut away. I did this with my wife a lot. Okay? When it came to my PTSD, I found out that I was relying on my wife way too much. And that Dion needed to start doing things for himself. Okay? Now, this took time. There was support going on, even to the point of codependency with us, sure, but we were quite aware of it. We knew what was going on, but I had to get to a place where I could at least love myself a little bit, or this was not going to happen. Yeah, the answer is love, true love, absolute love, unconditional love. That is the answer here. So my answer to my depression was, I love people more. And it works. It works. Let's keep going. Because I had over the years undergone a little spiritual development, these absolute qualities of these frightful dependencies had never been so starkly revealed. Reinforced by what grace I could secure in prayer, I found I had to exert every ounce of will and action to cut off these faulty emotional dependencies upon people, upon indeed, upon any circumstance whatsoever. Then only could I be free. And there it is. And only could I be free to love as Francis had. Emotional and instinctual satisfactions I saw, and here it is, here's our answer, were really the extra dividends of having love, offering love, and expressing a love appropriate to each relation. Appropriate to each relation. What does that mean? That means I'm going to love you for who you are. I don't like carrying hate. I like it. I like anger. I don't, man. I don't like confrontation. Nobody does. Nobody walks around saying, hey, I'm looking for some confrontation. Right? Now, maybe they do. Okay? Plainly, I could not avail myself of God's love until I was able to offer it back to him by loving others as he would have me. And I couldn't possibly do that so long as I was victimized by false dependencies. Okay, happiness comes from within. Joy, peace, serenity, balance. These are all inside jobs. Okay? And you can access them when you decide that that's what you want. So what I had to stop doing was demanding. I'll tell you what I did. Oh, look, right here. I learned my 5 love languages, and that's how I love people now. I watch them, I see their love language, and then that's how I love them. And it worked. It's worked. It has helped my depression because now I don't feel victimized. For my dependency meant demand, a demand for possession and control of the people and conditions surrounding me. While those words, absolute dependence, may look like a gimmick, they are the ones who helped to trigger my release into the present degree of stability and quietness of mind, qualities I am now trying to consolidate by offering love to others regardless of the return to me. That's all it is. Okay? Now, that's going to take some time because your brain doesn't work that way yet. So be patient with yourself. Be nice to yourself first. Love you first. Love you first, man. Okay? Because then you get the extra dividends. Yes. And love yourself unconditional. Yes. That means accept you for who you are. If you can accept you for who you are, you can accept other people for who they are. Okay? What do I have to accept here? I'm full of snakes. That I'm a very dangerous person. Okay? I know exactly how dangerous I am, and then I bring that back. I don't control it. I give it to God. Okay? I don't have control. I don't have power. Okay? Actually, we do. Because what did he say? That you're going to have to he had to put all of his willpower into it. You have it. What is that? It's a decision saying, oh, you know what? I'm doing that. Okay? I'm going to tell you, there's more freedom. There's more freedom. This seems to be the primary healing circuit, an outgoing love of God's creation and his people by means of which we avail ourselves of his love for us. It is most clear, and the real current can't flow until our paralyzing dependencies are broken, and broken at depth. Only then can we possibly have a glimmer of what adult love really is. My wife helped me out with this so much. So much. You know, we're big Beatles fans. Well, she's a huge Beatles fan. I'm a poser. When it comes to the Beatles, I'm more of a poser. I love them because my wife loves them. Okay, that's why. And so I learned more. It's part of her love language. We talk. We love to talk about useless shit like that. Hey, we know that somewhere, you know, we're watching shows like, okay, where do we know them from? We know them from there, here. Oh, you remember that? See? And that's how we spend time, right? Spiritual calculus, you say? Not a bit of it. Watch any AA of 6 months working on a new 12-step case. If the case says to the devil with you, the 12-stepper only smiles and turns to another case. He doesn't feel frustrated or rejected. If his next case responds and in turn starts to give love and attention to other alcoholic, yet gives none back to him, the sponsor is happy about it anyway. You want to know the best thing about being a sponsor? Getting rid of them. Now it's their turn. I've already gotten what I need. Everything else is a dividend. It's just more of. Right? Yeah. Okay. Even if this person doesn't turn around and give me the love that I gave them, doesn't matter, because I'm watching them do it with other people, and that's what matters. Because when I got together, I said my whole point here is to pay it forward. Somebody gave this to me freely. I'm going to give it to you freely, and then it's going to be your job to go do it. So if they do that, you bet I'm happy, because it's not about me. I take credit for my recovery. Okay, and how do I do that? Good job. There. I claim spiritual progress. I'm done. I don't need any more than that because of all the outgoing love that God is giving me, that AA is giving me, that Sasa and Patricia and Ingrid and my wife are giving me right now. This right now is unconditional love. We're listening with open minds. We're being willing. We're taking what we need and we're leaving the rest. It's cool stuff, man. He still doesn't feel rejected. Instead, he rejoices that his one-time prospect is sober and happy. Fuck yeah. And if his next fallen case turns out in later time to be his best friend or romance, then the sponsor is most joyful. But he well knows that his happiness is a byproduct, the extra dividend of giving without any demand for return. That's all you want. Trust me. You don't need any more than the dividends. What are dividends? It's the emotions that are left over from the end of the day. And if you follow these steps, then what you have at the end of the day is joy, love, serenity, and you can give these things away. Okay? We're almost done. We're getting there. The really stabilizing thing for him was having and offering love to that strange drunk on his doorstep. That was Francis at work. Powerful and practical. Minus dependency and minus demand. What is that? Freedom. That is true freedom. How do I know that? Because it's what I experience every day. See, I'm one of the lucky few that I get to do this all the time. Now, catch me on one day when I'm sick of doing it. I'm like, I have to do it all right. Okay? But I'm one of those lucky ones where I get to do this all the time. I'm fortunate that way. Okay? I feel fortunate. Not everybody can do that. I'm willing to sacrifice some things. I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. I'm used to not getting what I want. I'm used to it. It's been that way my whole life. God, I have everything that, I'm going to tell you, I have everything that I need and some things that I want. Is that, and that's really cool because my will is in line with God's. That's why. Sometimes I want something and I don't expect I'm going to get it, and then it appears. Weird. And I'm talking material things. I don't ask for it. I'll say, God, I'd really like a PS5. No. No. He knows. He knows. And he's got a plan. Okay. In the first 6 months of my own sobriety, I worked hard with many alcoholics. Not one responded. Yet this work kept me sober. It wasn't a question of these alcoholics giving me anything. My stability came out of trying to give, not out of demanding what I receive. See? As a sponsor, I am 100% successful because I'm still sober. That's the whole point. Now, I want my next person to be 100% successful at sponsorship also. That'd be neat. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I'm not going to, okay? I tell my sponsees, even when we're done, I'm a forever person. I'm a forever person, man. Okay? I don't fire sponsees, usually. I've never fired one, actually. So, thus, I think it can work out with emotional sobriety. If we examine every disturbance we have, great or small, we will find the root of it, some healthy dependency, and its consequent unhealthy demand. Let us, with God's help, continually surrender these hobbling demands. Then we can be set free to live and love, and we may then be able to 12-step ourselves and others into emotional sobriety. Here's the key. Here's that key again. You're not going to be able to keep your emotional sobriety unless you give it away, just like your other sobriety. What does that mean? It means be encouraging. It means if you're at Starbucks and somebody's in front of you because you want to get your sugar and they're, oh, I'm sorry, and then you're like, no, don't worry about it. Take your time. Hold space for other people. I don't give a fuck if you're in a rush. Ain't nothing going to change. Of course, I haven't really offered you a new idea. Only a gimmick that has started to unhook several of my own hexes at depth. Nowadays, my brain no longer races compulsively to either elation, grandiosity, or depression. I have been given a quiet place in bright sunshine. That's me. It's me. Isn't that neat? And that is emotional strain. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Looks like my wife hung out on Instagram, so that was awesome. Nobody else joined. It doesn't matter anyway. Rewatches and all that other stuff. So, thank you, everybody, for being here. The big book thumping episodes are done. They are essentially from the very front of the book to page 63 in the big book. I was just hearing a lot of people saying, my sponsor told me to read page 63. And if that happens, if you have a sponsor that tells you that, get another sponsor, please. That's laziness. That's lazy. Okay. And there is so much stuff in there. You're going to miss shit that is imperative, like being accountable, understanding why the disease is the way that it is. I don't know how many times somebody has said to me, oh, I've read it. I've read that like 100 times, but that makes more sense. Yeah. See, when we describe it different ways, you can get different views, and sometimes it'll give that person the aha moment. But when we're reading it ourselves, let's say I'm new and I pick up this book and I'm reading it myself, I am using all of my own ideas, my thoughts that got me to where I am. Drunk. Okay? So if you want to be a sponsor, please do it right. That's all I ask. I love you. Peace out.